Hey, Brennan here. Welcome to the channel, and thanks for tuning in. Well, the college football regular season is in the books. We are headed to championship weekend. Should be a great weekend of college football. Going to be joined by Jason DiRienzo, and we're going to be breaking down another 2026 rookie stock report for you today. We're going to have 4 players who are rising up our ranks and 4 players that are falling down our ranks that actually might kick the can to the 2027 draft. So if you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button. We just dropped our top 15 wide receiver show, our top 10 running back shows. So go check them out as well. If you like this kind of content, we're going to be doing all sorts of scouting, getting you ready for your 2026 rookie drafts. Enjoy the stock report. So, Jason, let's get started with our NFL draft stock report. For really, I guess, the end of the regular college football season. The scouting season has kind of officially begun, but you and I, we've been scouting players for quite some time, getting ready for our 2026 drafts. And I want to talk, my first player I want to talk about is Noah Whittington, running back from Oregon, 5'8", 203 pounds. Okay. So I think it's pretty evident over the course of the last couple years that there's day 3 running backs. I know the chances are slim that you're going to, hit on our dynasty rosters, but each and every year there's backups that somehow wiggle their way onto a team and find themselves kind of getting, on the field as, as rookies. And Noah Whittington, has just been solid this year for Oregon. Just a good runner, 112 carries, 774 yards, 6 TDs, averaging 6.9, yards per tote. Listen, he's a 6-year player, right? He's going to be 24 and a half, almost 25 when he's drafted next May. But, Woody Marks is an older prospect who played 5 years. I just don't think that age is a factor. But what I like watching this kid play is he runs physical, downhill, good contact balance, decent out of the backfield. He had 16 receptions on the season this year. But, again, in a weak running back class, he's going to be a late day 3 selection. But 5'8", 203 pound backs are being successful right now in the NFL. I think more and more these smaller, compact, kind of a comp for me. He could be next year's like Kyle Monangai, your guy on Chicago, 5'8", 207 pounds, very similar frame to Noah Whittington. So, I'm giving him a stock up.
Yeah, it's funny because he stood out to me too when I was watching him. I think he even posted on X. He just reminds me a lot of like a Nyheim Hines type of role, like a complimentary back, pass catching upside. You see the physicality in a smaller frame. Like I do like that call. I think that will translate really well, and NFL teams can find a way to use him. My guy's gonna be Kaytron Allen, man. This guy, I just did not. We all thought it was gonna be Nick Singleton, but dude, give credit where it's due. Kaytron Allen has had a phenomenal year, over 1,300 yards rushing, 15 touchdowns on the ground, just 1 fumble. And honestly, the thoughts in my mind of him getting run down by a defensive tackle like a year ago was just like, wow, okay, the athletic upside is not there. This kid is highly intelligent with elite vision, and he maximizes that. And he just knows how to how to exploit zone coverages and defensive linemen. I just think it's pretty phenomenal what he's doing. So he is definitely a stock up for me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You just can't ignore the production. And I think he had over 200 yards this past weekend against Rutgers.
Yeah, 226.
And again, in a weak running back class, he could be arguably the 3rd or 4th back taken because
Arguably, yeah.
He would fit perfectly, I think, in a committee type role with maybe a smaller back, kind of like a David Montgomery type role for, like a Lions when you got Jahmyr Gibbs, right? I don't know if he's going to lead a franchise, but I really like the call a lot. The guy has just produced week in and week out. And at some point, you just can't stay a doubter forever, right? You have to.
No, not with what he's doing.
Yeah. And we'll be digging into the film a little bit as well here as we get into the off season. So my second stock up player, again, this is like I'm going deep again with my second player, is Michael Trigg. Player that we've spoken about on the podcast, but not necessarily in this segment here. 6'4", 240 pound tight end from Baylor. I've joked before about how he's been on my Debbie Dynasty roster on my taxi squad, thinking I had a dead asset, man. But this year, through the regular season, 50 receptions, 694 yards, 6 touchdowns, 6'4", 240 pounds. So he's got a decent frame. I think he's above average blocker. I don't think he excels in that department, but as we know, there are a
Mhm.
ton of tight ends that go to the NFL draft that, they're not asked to really play the dual role, on the line and, out wide. This guy can, I think, win in the second level. He's made some tremendous catches at Baylor this year, going
Mhm.
vertical, working the seams, working the boundary, like his yak ability. And the tight end class, I think you and I have discussed, might have been a little shoddy. I don't know. We might
Yeah.
get 3 or 4 guys. We're going to be talking tight ends probably in a couple episodes from now. But Michael Trigg, just add him. I think he's a top 5 tight end, and if he gets a great landing spot, I think sky's the limit. He might actually be productive year one as a rookie in the NFL.
Yeah, the athletic upside is there. He's been, predominantly productive all season. That first game with those drops just made you put a bad taste in your mouth again about him. But he really, took that development and took a next step this season. You got to feel really good about that. And I'm
Mhm.
going to go to the tight end position too. One that we weren't sure if he should have transferred, but when you look at the body of work, Max Claire's really, he started to come on toward the end of this season,
Mhm.
had a really nice game against Rutgers, over 100 yards receiving. And when you look at the target share of what he has to deal with, it's kind of obvious why the production is not
He's
there.
not
But to
there.
still have over 400 yards receiving and be a pretty good role in this offense as a receiver and as a blocker, helping Bo Jackson out, with those lanes and helping him with a great freshman year. I just think that Max Claire needs to get some recognition here. When I see the body of work, I understand why he was so highly regarded as a transfer. I think the NFL is going to like him. And I think the combine and NFL draft process is going to expose him as a much better tight end than what we've seen this year.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, at Purdue 2 years ago, he was just tremendous. I mean,
Yeah.
the athleticism, like you had mentioned, down the field
Caught everything
was
too.
he would look really good. He got off to a slow start, and given the fact that that wide
Yep.
receiver room is so big, it certainly is understandable. So, 2 tight ends, huh? We never would
Yep.
have thought,
Look
huh? We're
at
talking
that. I
talking
know,
tight
right?
ends on stock up on the NFL draft stock report. Cool. So there you guys got our 4 stock up players. So let's talk about some players that maybe are falling down our board. And as you and I were discussing, it's kind of hard because, we really haven't done a deep dive into their film. We're going to do that in the
Right.
off season, and it's really tough to, knock some of these players down. But as we continue to look at our ranks, it's only natural that some guys are going to fall when other guys are maybe excelling right now. And the first guy I want to talk about is Jonah Coleman, Washington running back. Now he's like a top 5 back for me still. But
Me
there's
too.
other players that I'm still might be interested in. And I kind of did a deep dive watching the film on him. And now he's had a knee injury this year that has been
Mhm.
nagging him for quite some time. He's 5'9", 228 pounds. Some say he's even bigger than that in the 230s, right? Got good contact balance, good vision. But I really started watching the film a little bit, getting ready for this, the offseason scouting and stuff. And I'm starting to question just his lateral ability with that size and frame. I mean, there's not a lot of guys 5'9" in the NFL that carry that much weight. And I'm just wondering if that's not going to prohibit him from having that burst and and that navigation around the line of scrimmage. So as I continue to watch some of these running backs, Joe Coleman's still top 5 for me. But he's kind of on the back end of the top 5 versus closer to behind Jeremiah Love right now. So he was my stock down player.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, he's kind of fallen off a little bit, especially, with the way that Washington's been trying to run the ball and that injury, you can definitely see it's hindering him. So that call makes total sense. I'm going to go with a guy out of Nebraska in Dean Key, who I really wanted this to be a special year for him.
Yeah.
Playing with Dylan Rayola, I figured, better offense. He'll be, a primary weapon, which he was particularly starting to get used that way, but just never really had the season that I expected. I think he only had one 100-yard game, and that was against lesser competition. So, I wanted a little bit more, but Dane Key for me, that part of that production was going to come with more development. The film is very hard to figure him out, so he is a stock down. Just it's going to be a very interesting evaluation, I think, when it's all said and done.
Yeah, we might have to pry more away from the combine and athletic testing than the film.
Yeah,
He's just been very inconsistent, and you just don't get those games where he
definitely.
has a ton of production where you can really watch and see, a body of work within a game or two. So certainly understand that. My second stock down player is John Mateer, another quarterback biting the dust, I think, in the 2026 quarterback class. if Dante Moore and Ty Simpson go back to school, which I'm assuming, I think John Mateer is also going to be following up. I mean, he's still out there for a lot of NFL draft analysts because he is eligible in 2026. I just don't see him coming back. I believe he has another year of eligibility, and I can't imagine that after the season, the second half of this season, this past weekend, again, he threw 3 interceptions. He continues to play erratic, not controlled. He doesn't seem to play within the system. He's kind of doing his own thing out there. And I don't know. I think that's going to scare off a lot of evaluators in the NFL. They want people that use, work the system. Yes, they want that play off script ability, but he seems to do it more times than not. One of the games for the last few weeks that I've watched. So he's my second stock down player, and stocking down really because I think he's not playing up to, the way he was earlier in the season, but also most likely a 2027 prospect at this point.
Kind of agree with you. I think he is a 2027 prospect. That would just make more sense as far as his development and everything else. I'm going to go with a guy that I know you and I both loved, but Antonio Williams, I feel like I keep bringing him up. It's just I really wanted this to be the season where we saw the century mark. If anything, we understood TJ Moore was there, Bryant Wesco, but Wesco going down, TJ Moore really popping off. Sometimes the talent will rise, and I just don't feel like we got a chance to see Antonio Williams rise other than the Duke game where he went off. He keeps getting those 5 to 7 receptions in the 50 to 60-yard range, but to me, I want to see someone who can really put the team on their back, show that he has that it factor, and the best ability is availability, and that has not been a big thing for him. So Antonio Williams, as much as I love him and I believe in the talent, I needed to see more this season.
Do you think he comes back for his senior year? I mean, I think there's a good chance he comes
that
back.
would be his 5th year. I don't see why not, because I do think he's hyper talented. He needs to showcase it. I honestly think he needs one more season to really show how good he is, because I do believe in the talent.
Yeah, last year in 2024, he had 11 touchdowns. This year, only 4. Not that production's everything. I still like him as a receiver. If he does declare, we're going to be talking about him, I'm pretty sure, here in the very near future anyway. But
we are.
Yeah. So, but we're going to have fun with that discussion. But Antonio Williams, I get it. The production's not there. We want to see those wow moments. When you watch the film of these players, we want to see wow moments that we can kind of see translating to the NFL. So there you guys got it. Those are 4 stock up players and 4 stock down players for the end of the regular college football season. Hope you enjoyed that segment.